Why would I do this? It's so cheesy. Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice. By the power of editing. Does that work with other things? Sneaky, sneaky, sneaky. Whew. Hey, Sneaky. Hello fellow yarn lovers, welcome back to the craft room. Today we're going to make a stripy cardigan, and since Beetlejuice came out on Friday I figured I'll make it black and white and I'll make it really easy, but you can also make these in pretty much any colour you want, so it's not specifically a Beetlejuice cardigan like tutorial. Like if you have maybe between 6 and 8 balls of yarn, like 4 of each colour, then 1 for the ribbon, then you can just basically make this and it doesn't have to be Beetlejuice. Anyway, right, if you can hear like my cat's going crazy, they're having some kind of boss fight on the landing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn you around and we're going to start this off with a chain. Now I'm 5'7", so I have chained 80 for this. I know if you've seen my Taylor Swift cardigan tutorial, I chained 90 for that, just because I felt like that's where I wanted that to go, because I wanted it to be Taylor Swifty. Now this cardigan is extremely similar, okay, and like the fact that the back panel and the 2 front panels are worked, but it's just like you're not doing clusters, you're just doing like, you know, double crochets all the way along. So I'm going to flip you around, I'm going to show you how I chain. I will make a little swatch on like how you would do this, because depending on how tall you are, you might not want to do a chain of 80, you might be like, I don't know, 6'7", you might want to do a chain of 90 or a chain of 100, or you could be something like, I don't know, you could be making it for somebody a lot younger who's like 3 foot something, 4 foot something, and you might just want to chain like 50 or 60, etc. So it's just kind of a like however you want it to fit, that's how you're going to do it. So if you're 5'7" and you just happen to want it to look the same as mine, then chain 80. But anyway, chain what you want, and yeah, I'm going to flip you around anyway. Okay, so to make this, you want to have a slip knot on your hook, and then you're going to do as many chains as you want, so however long you want it. If you want it skimming the floor, you need a very long chain. If you want this cardigan cropped, you're going to need a lot less of a chain. Mine is 80, okay, so well, it's 80 stitches. I chained 82 and then I ended up having it 80 stitches in length. If you've seen my Taylor Swift cardigan, that was a chain of 90, okay, so that cardigan's a bit longer, but it's all down to preference, so it's really easy to like make whatever you want with this cardigan. You could even do 3 stripes, 4 stripes, you could make it out of scraps, you can pretty much do whatever you want. It's so versatile, this pattern. So what you'll do, once you've got your slip knot on your hook, you'll chain however many it is you need to chain. So I think I'm just going to do a little swatch for you, because I actually already made my panels and I forgot to tutorial them. So I'm going to make a little swatch, okay, but it is exactly the same procedure for my swatch as it is for making the cardigan, okay. So this is my little swatch. Now looking at the chain, you'll notice that with this being the top of the chain, these are all like the little V stitches. Hang on, I need to, there we go. So you've got all these little V stitches. Hang on, let me just find something to point at it with. I'm going to point at it with my smaller needle, okay? So they kind of look like little hearts, okay? So here's the little V on each side. And then if you turn it over, you've got these little back bumps here, and these little back bumps are what you're going to need to work into in order to make like the panels have this nice V on the outside, so that you can stitch them together really easily. Okay, let me just push that cardigan out of the way, it's trying to get in a shot. So what you need to do is, ignoring this one on your hook, you are going to turn it over. Okay, so you've got like, so this is 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. It is 10, it's a chain of 10. So you are going to ignore this one here, you're going to ignore that one there, and you are going to yarn over and you're going to go into the back bump 2 away from the end chain, okay, and you'll make a double crochet in there, okay. So you'll skip 2 and you'll double crochet into the back bump of that 3rd stitch there, okay, and then you'll yarn over and you'll do that for the next back bump, okay, and you'll do a double crochet. And you'll do this all the way along your chain, unless you've got a different method like a chainless foundation chain. Those work here as well. What you need to do with these chains is make sure that your tension on these chains is not tight, or your back panel is going to end up looking like a trapezium. So I'm just going all the way back along here. So I chained, there was a chain of 10, I had to skip 2, so this should make 8 double crochets. Let me just do the last couple here. Okay, and here's my last one into the back bump of that last one. Oops, I hate it when that happens. So back bump, pull through 2, pull through 2. Okay, right, so let's have a look. So you've got, so just ignore this little turn and chain. That's what I do. Okay, I just ignore it. So you've got 1, and they've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, and then what you want to do, okay, so just imagine you've got like, I don't know, if you were doing the same as me, if you've got 80, okay, be exactly the same as this. So you just chain, you'd skip 2 and then you'd work your way back along and you'd ignore this little turn and chain, okay, because this edge is going to go nice and straight working with these stitches, okay. So I don't chain 1 before I turn, okay, so if I'll just keep my hook in it, so I'll just turn the work and then I will go into this first stitch and make a single crochet, and then I'll make it a stacked double. So I'll go into this one here, yarn over, pull it through, and it's a stacked double crochet, and that will make your edge really, really straight. So then you just want to yarn over and double crochet into the top of each stitch.
Okay, so here's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
And the last one, so this was like the turn, okay, so we ignored the little chain, but we're just going to go into the top of this stitch here, okay, under both loops there. Okay, sorry, I've bashed my camera. So let's evaluate. Okay, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so that will be straight if you do the stacked double crochet. Okay, so you can keep your hook in. Okay, so you'll just turn and you'll just do exactly the same again. Okay, so just go into this one with a single crochet and then into that front leg of there. Okay, and then it's stacked double crochet, and then you'll just work your way across with double crochets. If you've done if you're making a really long cardigan and you've got like 100 stitches, just like for the first few rows until you've got into your stride, I would actually like count the stitches as you do them, or if you've got some kind of like stitch counter, that would really work as well. It's really easy to count your rows on these because double crochets are kind of like a signature look to them. So let me just finish off these last 2 stitches. Okay, so you go into the top of that stacked double for that one. Okay, let's have a look. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, and that will just go up nice and straight. Okay, if it's like 60, if you did your chain of like 62 and you've got 60, then it's going to go up nice and straight. Okay, so it might look a bit curved whilst you're still working, and obviously that looks curved because it was the starting chain, but like honestly, once the garment is all made and sewn together, it's going to look fine. So just having a look at colour changes, if you were to grab your snippers, let me just grab my snippers, and you wanted to change colour, so what I would do, like this is just what I do, it's personal preference. When I get to the edge of a row, I will chain 1, and then I'll snip off my yarn, okay, and I'll just pull it through like that, okay. And I know it might make ends to weave in, but like, to be honest, when you're actually sewing the panels of the cardigan together, that's where you can kind of hide them. Okay, so, and I don't know, there's plenty of different ways to sew ends in, and I know it's tedious, but like this is the only time when I'm quite happy to sew them in because I know that the garment is like secure. This is not going to come undone. So I'm not going to use black because black's a horrendous colour to work with. I'm actually going to grab this orangey colour. It's well loved. It is burnt orange. I'm actually doing a different project. It's a gingham cardigan project with this, okay, and it will use like whites and beiges and stuff. So if you're not subscribed already, get subscribed because I've got a gingham cardigan coming shortly. Right, so what I do is the side that you've just left, you're going to put your hook in to that single crochet and then just pull your yarn through like that, and I just tie mine on securely like this. So I will literally just do that. You could even do a double knot if you wanted to, okay, and that's on there securely, and then stick your hook back in and do a stacked double crochet into here. So there's my single into that front leg, that's my double, okay, and then just make your your double crochets all the way along.
Okay, so 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8.
Okay, that one's been a bit faffy. There we go. Okay, and then that'll make like your nice neat stripes like that. Okay, so then just repeat the same thing. So when you've got it that way turned around, hang on, I've got so many tails now. When it's that way turned around, just start it off exactly the same way like that. Okay, and then you just work along and you just change colours whenever you want, okay, unless you've got a variegated yarn. In that case, you don't need to change colour at all. And this will just work for solid colours as well. So if you just want to do a solid colour, chain what you want, do your double crochets into that back bump, and then just go for it, yeah? Right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to flip you around and we're going to discuss sizing, because for this, I'm actually working shoulder to shoulder, okay? I'm going for width, okay? So this is your length. Okay, that's your length, like from shoulders to bum bum or wherever, and this is from shoulder to shoulder this way. So let's flip the camera around and let's have a talk about sizing shoulder to shoulder. Okay, now that I've flipped you around, I was just showing you this. This is my little swatch that I've just made. So like lovely, easy stitch, like so beginner friendly. So what you'll do is you will, once you've made this, so look at me, look at me. I did a chain of 80, I worked into my back bumps. No, sorry, I did a chain of 82, I skipped 2, I worked into my back bumps, and then I just went along and along, okay? So this here, this was my original chain. I cannot stress enough, you must do this chain loose, okay? So if you chain it tight, 1, you're not going to be able to work back into it, and 2, like it's going to look like a trapezium, okay, so or a trapezoid. So if you did this, okay, and like this bottom bit was like really like tight, it would be like that, and then the cardigan when you're working it out would go like basically like a trapezium, okay? So don't do that, chain nice and loose. Anyway, so how many rows did I do? So oh right, for the stripes I did these in rows of 4, so I did like 4 white, 4 black, and my logic for putting the black on the ends with just 2 was because basically sizing, okay? I wanted it to look nice and uniform, and I wanted the same colour on there. So for my stripes I just did rows of 4, so there's like 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32, 38, and then it's 40. If you have seen my Taylor Swift cardigan video, that one I did something like 55 and it was very oversized. So this is me winging it and learning from my mistakes, or not mistakes, learning from my experiences, okay? So this one, it will stretch, okay? These will stretch, don't get me wrong, like it's acrylic, this one. So yeah, so this one, it goes shoulder to shoulder, and you just want to have it. So like if you've got a favourite cardigan or you've got a favourite hoodie, just measure where it literally goes from like the start of one sleeve to the start of another sleeve, and that's all you'll need to do. So yeah, that was my logic. This is like, I'm quite happy with it. It's just kind of between the shoulder and the elbow, but more towards the shoulder. And this is the back panel. So my logic for the front panels, I did finish both of them. The other one, there it is. Okay, so I've got my 2 front panels. So if you're doing exactly what I've done, then you know you can do this, but honestly it's your cardigan. I'm just here to teach you the stitches, like the imagination is up to you. So if you want to match up the front panels to the back panels, I literally just did exactly the same thing here. I'm going to explain how you size them in a second. So the pattern, I have just done them exactly the same, okay, so that they will marry up and be quite happy together, okay? I am going to lay this out flat because we're actually going to crochet the sleeves straight onto it. There'll be no sewing on of sleeves, it's just like crochet the sleeves straight on, because I was inspired by Beetlejuice. If you don't know who Beetlejuice is, like where have you been? Here's a picture of Beetlejuice in his jacket. So his jacket, like that's basically where I've took the inspiration from. So it's stripey, it's like vertical stripes, but then his sleeves go horizontal. So we're going to put the sleeves on like stitching horizontally, like, well, you know, crocheting horizontally like that, okay? So right, the logic behind how I have done this is because this is 40 rows, and I did explain this in my Taylor Swift video. If you've not seen it, like go and check it out. You don't have to make it those colours, you can make it any colours, okay? Look, the possibilities are endless. So the logic is you take your panel, if you have an even number of rows, you subtract 8 and then you divide that by 2. Okay, so I had 40, I subtract 8, I've got 32. So I need my front panels to be 16 rows each, okay? This is because I'm crocheting this way, okay? It's slightly different when you are crocheting up, down, we're crocheting left to right, okay? So then I did 16, and then that's when I chained in the black yarn to match up the black yarn here, okay? And then that kind of makes a 4 altogether, like that, okay? And then I did the same thing for the second panel. Okay, I chained, well, I did like 16 rows. I chained my 82 and then I just did it so that it will marry up here. Okay, so then what I'm going to do is, it doesn't really matter which side is which. There's no right side, there's no wrong side to these. So you can just go along the top with single crochets, and I'm going to show you how to do that. So go along, like pick your inside, pick your outside, and then just get them together, and then you're just going to literally single crochet them together. And I'm going to flip you around and show you exactly how to do that now. So let me just get my malfunctioning lights back onto the desk, and then I'm going to show you how to crochet these together, and then we'll lay them out and we will discuss sleeve sizing. So I have taken, this is like wrong side facing outwards, okay, like with this, it really doesn't matter which one's the right side, which one's the wrong side, but I chose this as being my wrong side, okay, and then this, what you can see is the right side of this, but that is the wrong side facing out, okay. So you want to match them up. Okay, so obviously if you're doing stripes like me, match them up like this, okay? So match the row to whichever row it is supposed to match up with, okay? And then what you want to do is you want to go into the side of the row with your hook, okay? And then into the side of the row with your hook, okay? So I'm just going to do this with single crochets, okay? I'm going to pull my yarn through, and I'm going to double knot this because I don't want this falling apart whilst I'm walking down the street, or if I just happen to be wearing it whilst I'm teaching at school, I don't want it to fall apart. If you're doing like not stripes and it's just all one colour, then just make sure that you have matched the correct row. So when I've counted up this way, this will have to be row 16 inwards, okay, because the front panel is 16, okay? So just double check before you start actually crocheting. Now, for this one, I'm just going to single crochet. You can do whatever method you want. I just find that single crochet is really, really effective at holding it together. And it's actually not that bulky. So you could do mattress stitch, you could do whip stitch, anything you want, okay? I'm just going to single crochet. So for that, once your yarn's tied, you put your hook through and you pull your yarn through and you chain one, and then into the edge of every single row, you're just going to do 2 single crochets, okay? So I'm going to go back into this one and I'm going to make a second single crochet. Okay, so that's 2 single crochets. Then I'll go into my next row, into the corresponding next row, and I'll make 2 single crochets. Okay, I'll go into this white row like this, and I'll make 2 single crochets into here as well. If you want it to be really meticulous, like if you wanted to, you don't have to. These little white stitches are going to show on the shoulder, but it doesn't bother me. But if you want it to be really, really meticulous, then, you know, you could like match the sewing like yarns up or the single crocheting yarns up, but only if you want to be really meticulous about it. So I'm just going to make 2 single crochets into the edge of each one. And then when I get to the end and I've ran out, I'll just chain one, and then I'll just snip it off, okay? So go across 2 single crochets into the edge of each row when they're all matched up, chain one, snip your yarn and pull it through. So here's me, I've just done my single crochets all the way along, okay? So just in case you want to see, I've just done my 2 single crochets into the very last one, and all I'm going to do is just chain one like that, leave a teensy bit of a tail, and then just snip it off with your scissors that are probably sharper than mine. Okay, and then once that is done, like so this is the inside of the garment, you literally just flip it over, okay? So I'm going to do the same to both sides, and then we're going to talk about putting the sleeves on. We have done the stitching up of the panels onto there, so I'm just going to put it on, look like some kind of WWE referee, okay? So obviously it's going to look weird at this point because it's got no sleeves on, okay? But like for mine, I'm happy with the way that it's fitting. It looks like it's just like, it's going to be a teensy bit oversized, which I'm happy with, okay? So now I need to kind of dictate where I want my sleeves to start. Well, obviously they're going to start there. But what I mean is like, am I going to have my back wing sleeves? Am I going to have sleeves that are really like tight up here? So kind of eyeballing it, and this is probably what you're going to have to do. I mean, you can use my measurements if you want. I'm going to kind of place them so that it's a little bit baggy. So I'm thinking like maybe like there-ish. So just give me a second. I'm going to count how many rows down this is. I didn't mean rows, I meant like stitches, because obviously these are all stitches. So it is from like here to like where I comfortably want mine, it was 30, okay? And because when we did a chain with these, you'd worked into the back bumps, so these are literally the top of stitches. So when it comes to like actually crocheting the sleeves onto these, and I'm going to start with white, okay? So I'm going to show you. Well, Do I need to show you? I'll show you anyway. But you literally just be crocheting into the top of these because like it is like basically V stitches in there. So I'm going to do 30. What I might do is I might just stitch marker them together, like the 30th one on here and the 30th one in there, and then just check it and be like, yes, this is the one. So let me just stitch marker it up and then I'll show you. Okay, what I did is I pinned that one at 30 stitches and I've pinned this one at 35. Now for whatever reason, like, oh, maybe that's the reason, okay? This side of the cardigan, I don't think I've pinned it right, okay? But I think 35 for me personally would be better. I just think that I've pinned this a bit weird because when I actually like move around and stuff, I just don't think that I'm going to have like the freedom if I do this just at 30 stitches. So I think it is going to be way better if I do it at 35. So I'm going to pop out this stitch marker. Tell you what, I'll take it off, okay? So yeah, that's what I'm going to do, and I'm going to flip you. I don't think I need to lay this out because like you know, you pretty much, you can see it, you know what it looks like. What you need to do is make sure that you count the correct number of stitches out from the center, okay? So here you've actually like crocheted the first stitch of them, like of both panels together, so that counts as like the first one. So I mean, unless you just disregard it, okay? If you just disregard it, I'll show you from this side. So you can just disregard that little bundle of stitches there and then just kind of start. See, it's hard with black yarn. You could just kind of start from like the next one and be like 1 2 3 4 etc. So for me, I am going to go along to the 35th stitch. I'm going to put a stitch marker on that side. Again, I will go along to the 35th stitch and I'll put a stitch marker. And then once I've done that, I will flip you around and I'm going to show you basically how I'll start doing that. It's literally just going to be exactly the same as this. So count up where you want your sleeves to go. I'm doing 35, and then I will flip you around and show you how to kind of start that bit off. Okay, right, so stitch markers are in both sides. I've got my white yarn here. If I didn't already say, it's good old-fashioned DK. It was like dirt cheap, it's amazing. And it's actually really, really nice and really soft to work with. I haven't washed it yet, but it might wash nice. It feels like it's going to. So, right, wherever your stitch marker is, you're going to stick in your hook. And you're pretty much just going to join it like you join it when you're changing colours between the stripes on the actual cardigan. So I'm going to join it here, just with a normal stitch like that. Okay, well, not normal stitch, a normal knot like that, because I can weave this end and I know this sleeve is not going anywhere. So what you want to do is just do your chain 1 and do your stacked double crochet. You can take out your stitch marker if you want, because you only really needed it to like mark like the number of stitches that you want to do for the arms. So here, because of the way that we chained, we did like a back bump for the starting chain. All you're going to do is just yarn over, and you are basically just going to go into every single stitch along here with a double crochet. Okay, so I will meet you when you get to the other stitch marker, which will be, for me, 70 stitches along there. So I'll meet you when you get here, and then we'll just discuss what to do when you get to that point. I just want to quickly mention, let me just zoom you in. So you know when you've crocheted like the two like stitches, like the two first stitches of the panel together, you just want to treat those like one stitch, okay? So this is just the stitch before them here, okay? So if you can actually get your hooks into them, because it just depends how you've actually crocheted your garment together, because you might just be able to put like a single crochet straight into there. But just because of the way that I've done it, I'm just going to go into each one of them, but I'm going to kind of do it as a joined double. So I'll go through there, pull through one, I'll yarn over, and I'll go into the top of this one, which is proving a bit difficult. There we go. So into the top of that one, through there, and then through there, okay? And that just puts that edge there together as like one stitch, okay? And then you can just continue along your merry way to the end. Okay, so that's just if you've done like your crocheting together like mine. See you at the end. Okay, I'm now at the final stitch marker, so I'll just yarn over, go in and make a double crochet like that. Okay, I can get rid of this stitch marker now. Okay, and then all you're going to do, it's exactly the same as when you were doing like the body of the cardigan. You are literally just going to flip it and then make your stack double and then just kind of continue with it. So for mine, I am going to do, let's have a look, I'm just going to continue with like the stripes, like the 4 stripes, and yeah, I don't think I'm going to do it any differently. Looking at Beetlejuice's jacket, like I showed you the picture of it earlier, you know, it is just like the opposite like way of the stripes. So I'm not going to do them like really skinny. I'm just going to be consistent with this cardigan, okay? So I will just do 4 white and then 4 black, then 4 white, 4 black. And then when it gets to about, like you see where this sleeve is on here, so I've got obviously like space for a watch. So when it gets to about here on me, that's kind of where I'm gonna like stop the cardigan. So I'll do both sleeves. I will put like how many rows it is here, because obviously I've not done them yet. So like if you just look here, this is how many rows I ended up doing, but obviously like I have different arms to you. So what you'd want to do is just kind of do it to like, you know, get up to about here on your wrist, and then you can think about doing the ribbon. If you want to do it like cropped sleeves, then obviously you just want to do it to about there. It's totally up to you. It's honestly, it's so versatile. So yeah, just get it to where you want it, and then I'm gonna I'll meet you back once I've done both of the sleeves, and we'll talk about doing the ribbing or the cuffs, etc, etc, which I'm going to do in a bright green. So I'll see you in a minute. Okay, right, I've just brought you down to my living room, okay? So like we saw how we like single crochet this together when it's right sides facing inwards, okay? And then I'm going to talk about the sleeve. So I did my 4 rows here. Like this is to my arm measurement. You might not have the same length arms as me, we're all different. So I did 4 here, 4, 4, 4. Now these were all normal. And then on this one, this was normal. So like I did like 20 rows of normal, like 4, 8, 12, 16, 20 rows of normal. And then you can't see it very well because black yarn just like sucks in this light. That kind of helps a little bit. But I did the first row of black, I did 5 decreases. Now I'm just going to show you on here. It's just when you crochet 2 together, okay? So like I put a decrease in here, I put a decrease here, 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 here. And that just means that this first row of black here was 5 stitches less. I've written this out for you. If you need to do shorter sleeves, then you could just make like sleeve rows like 1 to 15 normal, or keep it in 4s, like 1 to 16 normal, and then that means that will be row 17, 18, 19, 20, and then 21, 22, 23, 24. Okay, so if you need to do it shorter, just make sure that this happens in your last 6 rows, and if that happens in your last 6 rows, then you will have like this lovely little gradual decrease, which you'll have already seen how the sleeves look, because I obviously was wearing it at the beginning of the video. It's just not done at the minute, so I don't know what it looks like. Anyway, right, so enjoy this. This will like be there for you to screenshot. And now I'm going to keep you, like flip you back around, and I'm going to show you how I seam this whole thing up before we do ribbing and cuffs. If you want a sharper decrease, if you wanted to go in a bit more, you could put 6 decreases in, or you could put like, I don't know, 10 decreases in. It's totally up to you. It's your garment, but that's just what I did. So if your arms, for example, are like this much shorter than mine, you could do like your white, your black, your white, your black, and then you could do decrease row, decrease row, normal row, and then 5 decreases. Hopefully that's clear. Yes, I still look like a state. Okay, right, really important that when you are coming to like seam up your sleeves, that you put all of like the good side, the side that you want, like the proper side, that has to go on the inside, okay? So like you'll know this because when you look at like the seams you already did to join these up, if you use this method, these should be on the outside, okay? Because you want all of the sticky out bits to be on the inside when you turn it back around, okay? So make sure that your cardigan is wrong side facing out. Okay, now I can flip you around. Okay, right, so here is my sleeve. This is like the inside out. Okay, so I'm going to use black yarn, and the reason I'm going to use black yarn to seam this up is because, yes, I'm stripey on the sleeves on the way up, and I'm just trying to, this cardigan's quite big now, so most of it's trying to get onto the floor because it's heavy. So this is like my sleeve, the bottom of my sleeve, and then when I get to the actual body of the cardigan, so like when it comes to seaming up the front and the back panel together, that's black, and I'd purposely done that, so like when they're together it makes 4. That's just what I did purposely. You don't have to plan it as OCD as I did, but like, you know, it just came together nicely like this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to go like to crochet in all of my ends because I'm lazy, I'm living my lazy girl life, and I don't want to have to sew every single thing in, especially when I can just kind of tie them together, that which will kind of secure them anyway, and then I can just like get them inside all the single crochets. That's pretty much what I did with my Taylor Swift one, and honestly none of the ends fell out, so like that way is totally good. So right, let me just get my yarn and then I'm going to put my hook in and show you what I do. Right, okay, I'm just going to zoom you in. Now, this single crochet that's here, I'm not going to go into that because that I'm going to single crochet into to do my ribbing, okay? So I'm not interested in that one. I'm going to go into this gap between, like, the double crochet. So that's not a single crochet, it's a double crochet. I just meant, the thing that you would normally go into, yeah? So I'm not going to go into there. I'm going to go into here, yeah? Because, like, this will be dealt with separately when you do the ribbon. And do the same on the other side, so go into the corresponding one. Yeah, you don't want to go into that top stitch, you want to just go into like the side of it there. Okay, and then you want to grab your yarn. This is just what I do, okay? If you want to tie it differently, you can. And then you're just going to pull it through like that. And I'm going to place a double knot in mine because I do not want this coming undone, which it won't once the ribbon's on. But I'm just being a bit extra cautious. So 1 and 2. Okay, this might be a good idea to double check that you definitely have your inside out. Okay, so definitely double check that. Right, so then you're just going to grab your yarn and do so just do a single crochet. I'll do that again for you, I'll do it slower. So just pull your yarn under, chain 1 and then single crochet into the same like end of the row, another single crochet. If I can grab my yarn, hang on, I've done something here, I've got an extra loop. Oh no, that was just my tail. Hang on, let me just move it because it's confusing me. There. So then into the same end of that row, another single crochet. Okay, and then you find the next end of the row there, and then the end of the next row. If you're unsure, just like have a look at them, yeah, because that's my first row. I want to go into the end of this row with 2 single crochets. Okay, so there's 1, there's 2. Okay, end of this row, end of that row with 2 single crochets. And that is literally all you are going to do along here until you get to the body part, like the armpit corner. Okay, so just go along putting 2 single crochets into the end of each row, and I will meet you in the armpit. Right, so I have just put my last 2 single crochets into like the pit basically there from the sleeve part. All I've done is I've literally just crocheted. Can you see I've crocheted over my tails as I've gone, and because I'd like double knotted them together anyway because they were right next to each other, like those are totally sealed in. There is just one here in the end that I'll have to weave in somewhere, and then there's a 2 obviously in the pit from like here that I've not been able to like, you know, crochet over, and I'm not going to crochet them down here. I'm just going to weave them in somewhere up there. Okay, so what you want to do here is you literally want to find the single crochets, and you're just going to put, it's like just single crochet it together basically. If you want to, so if you want to be really meticulous, you can like put a stitch marker in the end, and you can count up the stitches just to make sure that you lined up correctly. Even if you just kind of mismatch your stitches by like 1 or 2, like, you know, either or, it's not going to make a massive difference. Okay, as long as you get the ends into each other like this and you're pretty much there or thereabouts, then you're going to be absolutely fine. So don't overthink like seaming up your sides, because like this should match anyway, because this was like the 35 stitches down, so you should be pretty much there or thereabouts. Yeah, so here I do apologise, it is black yarn. Let me see if I can just get a little bit light in here, like a little bit more light, before I just go ahead with this, just to see if there's any way I can try and get you to see here. Just give me a second. Okay, right, I've got my ring light on the highest setting. Right, let me see if I can get you to see this. So we're in the top of this stitch here, so you want to put your hook into like this one here, so jumping from where you are here, ignoring that one that the, you know, the white or whatever colour you've got is in there. You just want to go into the top of that stitch there. Now this is probably like the bottom chain from this panel. On this side it's not, it's like the top of it. Okay, so you can see them easily there. That white is into here, so I'm going to go into there. Okay, and then I'm just literally going to pull my hook through and make a single crochet like that. Okay, and then I will go into the next stitch on here. like this. This is why I crocheted into the back bump when I started off each panel, because crocheting into the back bump has allowed me to have those V's on top. I don't know if you can see them. Oh, honestly, black yarn is a nightmare to show. But yeah, so I'll have the V's. So like it's not exactly like easy V's because they are like a little bit tight with it being a bottom chain, but like it's manageable. So just pull the yarn through, oops, and then make another single crochet. Yeah, so just one single crochet into the top of every single stitch all the way down to the bottom. If when you get closer to the bottom, so let's imagine that you get, tell you what, I'll get closer to the bottom and I'll say what I was about to say. So just give me a second, I'll get closer to the bottom and then I'll just talk about if you're just a teensy bit like mismatched, what you can do about it. So just go all the way down there and I'll meet you like maybe, I don't know, about like 10 to 15 single crochets from the bottom of the cardie. Okay, so with mine, I don't think it's mismatched. I just think because this was a beginning chain and that was like, you know, the top of like that panel that I made, that one's a bit looser. So like they kind of seem like they're going to match up perfectly. But if like in whatever case, if you thought that like you had a few less stitches on one side, then you could like put your hook in. And then if you had too many stitches on like the other side, instead of going into like the next one, you could just skip one to kind of bring them in line with each other. So with this one here, like I think they're going to be fine. So I'm just going to keep going along. But if you do feel like, you know, yours might be a little bit longer on one side, if you don't want to like, you know, rip it all out, etc., then I would advise just, you know, skipping a stitch like in the odd place just to make sure that they do match up. Obviously don't do it all the way down because then your cardigan's going to look a bit weird, but it's just like when you get to the end and you think, right, is it actually going to match up? You know, do I need to just like kind of either crochet two together or do I need to like skip a couple of stitches? So it's just being mindful of that. Let me just, I'm going to just try and finish this off. I'm just double checking that I've definitely like I've not skipped any, because honestly like black yarn is so difficult to work with, and if you are doing pretty much exactly what I'm doing with the black and the white, etc., then yeah, you might find that you need to maybe skip a couple, like a stitch or two, or you might need to crochet two together. So I'm nearly at the end here like this. I feel like I might have too many stitches left. Hang on, let's have a look. I've got 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 left there, and I've got 1 2 3 4 5 6 left there. So I'll put my yarn in here like that, if it'll go in, because it's this is a starting chain. Hang on, push it in there like that, and then I'm just going to skip this one and I'll go into that one like that, so that I definitely will have the right amount of stitches left. And I think that's pretty much the only time I've had to do that. Last one, so I'll just literally put it into like the end of the row if I need to, and then into here like that. Okay, and then I'll just chain one, like snip that off and then turn it back the right way out. So snip, pull it, and then you can turn it the correct way out. And then if you look, so this is the correct side. I know it's black yarn, I appreciate that it's black yarn and you can't really see, but yeah, that looks pretty good. Let me just show you what the arm is looking like. I need to turn the arm the correct way around like this. Okay, so then this is the seam on the arm, and then it I need to weave a few in anyway. So yeah, it's like you can't see on the black, but you can see on the white. If you'd seamed it up in white, then obviously it would just kind of look like the way I've done my shoulders. And with my shoulders, where is it? Yeah, so my shoulders just have those little white ones there. If you want to do any other stitch, you can, okay? It's just like this for me was just quick and easy, and nobody's really going to question like, oh, why do you have little white things on your shoulders? I'll just be like, because that's the way I sewed it. So I'm going to do the other side, and then I'm going to try it on for you, and then we'll talk about doing the ribbing and the cuffs. I'm going to do a nice fast one for this cardie because I want to wear this for work tomorrow. Okay, right. I've just uninside outed it. I've not tried it on yet. Okay, let's have a look. Let me just stand up in my Powerpuff Girls attire. Right, it's not inside out. Yes, there are a few ends hanging out in places, but like they're going to get addressed like at the end. So, let's have a look. Yes. Nice. Oh, perfect. Look at that. Look at that. Yes, that is well good. Okay, right. It doesn't match the current t-shirt that I'm wearing, but it's fine. Right, it's time for ribbing. So I want it done quick, and I literally want it done today. So I'm going to find a nice purple, probably this purple, like this Beetlejuicy purple, and I'm going to do one row around it in purple, and then the rest I will do in green. So yeah, right, so we've got a bit of a situation here which is not going to be too difficult to deal with. It's just a case of like how you want to put your ribbon round. I'll do my cuffs last, so it fits well, it's fabulous. It needs to just be extended a little bit in here, which we'll do with the ribbon. So yes, let me turn you round and let's do the ribbing. I just want to point out, and I was excited there, before you do the ribbon, if you've not woven in ends that are on the bottom, okay, because if you've done it the way I have, which is when you kind of start your rows all from the same side, so look, I've started on my rows going up this side, literally just like if you've been doing 2 or more colours, just to literally tie all of your ends together like this. And what I think I might do, just to make, because I don't want to weave in all these ends, honestly, like I hate weaving in ends, I think I might make it a row of single crochet all around the cardigan first, and then I'll go in with double crochets. You can, you know, do what you want, it's up to you. But I'm going to do, yeah, I'll do single crochet all the way around to hide in the ends, and then I will do my double crochets. So I am going to, I'm just doing all the, I'm tying them now. So I am going to flip you around and just show you how I would tackle areas like the front corners and these little bits at the neck where you've obviously sewn panels together. So let me flip you around and I'm going to do that now. Right, for my purple little strip that I'm going to have going, so my first single crochet all around the whole cardigan, I'm going to use this Hatfield Bonus DK. This is in the shade Neon Purple. Like, I don't know if you can get this anywhere because I'm really not aware of how, like, the length of time that I've owned this, but you probably can, I'm guessing. But yeah, so it's shade 551 Neon Purple. You can probably get like whatever alternatives because it's like, it's a really nice rich purple. It actually matches my nails, how good is that? So yeah, that's what I'm going to use for my purple. Use whatever purple you like, or do whatever, like do whatever ribbon you want, basically, it's your cardigan. But yeah, just an FYI. So what you want to do is get your yarn. I'm just finding the end of the ball. I'm going to start, or like where I would advise you to start, which I made this mistake when I did my mermaid cardigan. I actually did my start at the front of it. Don't start at the front. I'm going to start in the corner of this one. So I'm pretty sure that this is like my bottom, like left hand corner. So I'm literally just going to put my hook into the end here like this. I'll just zoom in a teensy bit for you there. So I've literally just put it like into the end of the row. I've not put it into like the single crochet, like the crochet like stitch there or anything. I've just stuck it into the end like this. Okay, so then what you're going to do, because this is a corner, I'm going to put quite a few stitches into it. I'm just going to make sure that this is tied on securely. So tied it on like that. You don't need to do a double knot. I'm going to crochet over its tail. I'm going to put my hook in, bring the tail so I can crochet over it. Okay, and then I'll bring my yarn through, make a chain, go back in, and then make a single crochet like that. Okay, and then I'm going to do 7 single crochets into this corner because I'm going to have my corners going like rounded, just purely because I want it done quickly. I don't want to faff on or anything. If you want to do different, I did do, so if you look at my mermaid hexagon cardigan, the ribbon I did for that, you can like do that type of ribbon and it will give you a square ribbon. Right, so for this one, because it's just single crochet, literally putting, there's my second, I'm going to put 7 into here.
3, oop, we get it, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Like that, okay? Right, and then, just like when we single crocheted, all like the sides and the sleeves together, you're going to do 2 single crochets into the end, like over the end stitch of each row. Okay, so I appreciate this is like black yarn, you can't see it very well, but there's literally just this row to do with it. Okay, so I'm just going to go in, I'm going to take all my tails, I'm going to put my tails in there, and I'm just going to crochet over them as I go. So there's 1, and there's 2, and then I'll just jump. I know this is quite a knot going on here, because I've kind of like, you know, tied them together, etc. And I also took the end from this one, and kind of did it along there like that, and it's in there. Okay, so I just want all my tails out of the way. So then I'll jump into here, pull it through, pull the tails tight out of the way, and then I'll just single crochet. I need to do another one. Okay, ooh, if I can grab it, do another one, single crochet, try not to bring the tails through the yarn. So I'm just going to go into here, keep my tails down, single crochet, back in, single crochet, into the next row, 2 single crochets. Okay, and you're just going to do this basically all along the bottom of the cardigan, because the bottom of your cardigan will just be like the ends of rows, and it's only when you're going up the sides of the cardigan here that it's going to be like proper like stitches to go into. So, and then when you get up to like the neckline, if I can just like get my neckline here, so when you're going up like the side, so this is my neckline here, this is where the back of the neck goes, so when you go up the side here, these will be stitches to go into like that, so stitches to go in, and then there'll just be like a little bit of a difference around here. So when you like, so we're just starting along the bottom, so go along the bottom 2 stitches into either end of each row, crochet over your tails if you've not already woven them in, and then when you get to the other side, okay, I'm going to put another 7 single crochets into here. So like that's my 2 stitches there, so this is 2 stitches. I'm going to put 7 single crochets into here, and then I'm just going to go up the side in each stitch, because this is like one of my foundation chains, which the way that I did it when I crocheted into the back loop, it allowed me to have like V stitches, so I've got proper stitches. So I'll catch up with you in this corner just to make sure we're doing the right thing, and then we'll start going up here. So go along the bottom first, I'll just catch you at the corner. Okay, I've now made it to my other corner. I've got quite a few tails that I've carried with me, so I'm just going to kind of continue with crocheting over those, and I'm going to put 7 single crochets, if I can grab my yarn, 7 single crochets into this corner. So there's 1, 2, 3. It doesn't matter if they start sticking out, I'm going to sort those out short.
4, 5, 6. And 7.
And then as I turn it, you can see that all of these, despite it being a chain, yeah, they've still got the V's because of the back bump that we crocheted into. Okay, I know you can't really see it because it's black yarn, apologies. Hopefully you can, hopefully my phone's picking it up if I maybe zoom in a little bit and bring my light closer. But yeah, so you want to go into the top of each stitch of this, so literally just all the way up. Okay, so the next stitch after this corner for me is this one. I'll just move my tails like that. I can just leave my tails like that. I can snip those now because these are well like crocheted in or over. So I'm just going to go all the way up the cardigan now, just crocheting into every single stitch, and then I will meet you when you get up to just before this panel that you're on meets the neckline. Okay, so I will meet you in approximately like 70-ish stitches, yeah, because mine is 80 chains. So see you when you're just about to reach the neckline. Okay, so I'm just getting to the end here, so like this like is the last like available like double crochet on there. You can't really see because my lights are rubbish with these black threads, okay, but so if I just go into this gap here with a single crochet, so I'll just go into the top of this row. So I've made my final single crochet like on the way up here, just go into this row here just with 1, and then because these along the back of the neck are like ends of rows, just treat them like you did the ones on the bottom of the cardigan. So just put 2 single crochets into the edge of each one like this, and my yarn's getting stuck. Okay, there's 2 there. Okay, I'm just going to do these and I'm just going to get to that neck bit and I'll show you what happens there. Okay, so I just did my final 2 single crochets into like that row there, and then look, this is where like these 2 panels have joined. So all I'm going to do is just literally jump into the first available stitch because it's the top of a double crochet, and then I can just literally go back down the other side of the cardigan there like that. Okay, and then your neckline, if I just pull that up like that, so your neckline should just be nice and neat. It'll just be like that. Yeah, so that's all you've got to do. So then just go back down the cardigan, and then this will just be one row of single crochets because we were just tucking in all the ends. And plus, for the theme of this cardigan, the rest of the ribbon is going to be green. I will do this single crochet row around the sleeves, and I'll show you that in a little bit. But just go down to the bottom of the cardigan and just slip stitch it onto the first purple, or the first like stitch that you made for this row, and I'll meet you back after that. Okay, so I went all the way around with my single crochets of purple, and then I actually, like, you don't have to do this, but this is just like literally my design because it's a Beetlejuice inspired design. I went around with another row of single crochet on there, but that's totally optional, you don't have to do that. I just wanted my purple, ignore my missing fingernail there, I just wanted like the purple to be like a bit more on show because, and I'm going to show you how to do this. I actually went ahead and did one of the cuffs just to make sure, hang on, which cuff is it? There it is. I just wanted to make sure that it looks good. So I'm going to show you this in just a second, how to do the cuff. And I thought, oh, I actually want to do 2 rows of purple on the cuff because on one of my purple rows, it's a decrease so that I can do this on here. So I can do my back loop, front loop. Now this is exactly what I'm going to do on top of this. So what you need to do is grab yourself yarn. So the yarn that I'm using is Stylecraft Special DK. Just bash to the camera there with it. I'm doing it in the shade bright green. So this is like a neon-y type of green. So all you're going to do is where you've made each single crochet, you are literally just going to put a double crochet and do a row of purely double crochet in there. So, you know, just, and I've dropped a hook size as well. I dropped a hook size for the second purple row. I did all of my I'm going to show you anyway. I did all of my cuffs of the cardigan in 4mm, but because I want my ribbon to just look that little bit smaller than like the rest of the stitches, just to make it, you know, polish it off, I will be doing like 4mm hook. This one here, this is my, I think this is a Hobbycraft hook, which I've just shoved inside like one of the silicone things that you get from Amazon. I took the original one out and I put that in because I like it a bit ergonomic. So yeah, 5mm for the whole thing, but now this green ribbing for me is going to be in 4mm. So just go in and make a row of like or a round of double crochets, like pretty much exactly the way you've been making your double crochets throughout here. Okay, so I don't feel like I need a tutorial that for you because the whole thing was like double crochet. So just like as you would start one of your rows that you were doing for like the black and white bit on mine, okay, you just started off like that and then just go around the whole garment with double crochet, and I will meet you back so that we can give it the ribbing effect. Once you've gone round the whole garment, I will meet you back here to start off like round 2 of this green bit. Right, I'm just getting to the end of this, and what I've done, I'll show you now. When you get to like the bottom front corners, okay, I have just put like 3 like pairs of double crochet into it, just because I didn't want it bunching up. I wanted it to be like a nice curve. Okay, so when I done the original 7, okay, and the very 3 corner ones, put 2 double crochets into them. Okay, I know I've got some purple ends here, but like I'll show you what I mean. So I'm just getting towards the end here. So there's that one, there's that one. Okay, so these 3 like very central ones, if you can see right there, I'm going to put 2 double crochets into each one, so it just makes it nice and round. Okay, so we'll just go like that. There's 2 into there. I'm just going to crochet over these tails, and then into that one I'll do 2 double crochets as well, and that'll just make it like go nice and rounded if you're doing this. And then I've got 1 left in here. Okay, and then we're ready. My cardigan is just falling on the floor. Then we are ready to go and do the next row. So what you want to do is slip stitch to the top of the first double crochet that you did. Okay, right, now you don't need to chain 1, you can if you want, but you are literally just going to pull your loop up a little bit so it's a bit loose, then yarn over, and then you're going to do a back post double crochet like that. Sorry, that's a front post, my bad. So you do front post double crochet, and then this one, then you'll do a back post double crochet like that. Okay, and then you'll do front post like that. So front post is when it's like in front like that. Okay, next one is going to be back post, so you'll go behind like that, then you'll do front post, and you're just going to alternate front post, back post, front post, back post, and literally just do that all the way around. Okay, so there's front post, back post, and what I tend to do is like just stop every like maybe 20-30 stitches and just double check that I have definitely gone front post, back post, front post, back post, because the amount of times I've been doing this ribbon and I'll put like 2 front posts together and then I'll put like maybe 2 back posts together. So let me just show you. So this is just the first row. We are going to do this for about 3 or 4 rows depending on like the thickness. I might even go up to 5, but I haven't quite decided on here. So yeah, you just want to do front post, back post, front post, back post, just all the way around the garment. So as soon as this like first row of double crochets is in, then yeah, just go for it with the front post, back post. And then when you get to the next row, then you would literally just do the same thing. You would just go front post into front posts, back post into back posts, and I'll show you in just a second. Let me just like finish this row, then I'll show you how to start the row, like the next one from this point. So I'm going to go all the way around and I'll meet you back in a second. So just to keep my corners nice and flat, when you get to these 3 stitches where you did like 2 double crochets into them, what you should do with these is just put like 2 into them. So for example, I've just put a back post double crochet into this first one. I'm also going to put a front post double crochet into the same one. Okay, so then I'll go back post into the next one, but then I'll also put a double crochet like front post into it. Okay, so then I'll go back post into it, and then I'll do a front post into it, and then it'll just keep it nice and round. Yeah, so I've done 6 of those in total, like that. Okay, so 2 stitches into like each one, if that makes sense. So you would have had like 6 stitches on that first row, but then on this one it's technically going to be like 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12. Okay, so I'm just going to do my back post into this final, you can call them like a V stitch, but they don't have the chain in between them. Okay, so I'm going to do my front post into that one that I've just also put the back post in, like that, and then back post into the next one, and also front post into the next one, like that. Okay, and that'll keep it nice and round. Okay, so then my next one, because I finished on a front post, I'll just go into a back post on there, and I'm going to do this in both front corners. Then I can just continue on my merry way with that, and then I'll meet you back at the beginning of this row and I'll show you how I'm going to do the next one. But when you get to the next row, for doing these corners, let me just finish off that one. When you get to the next row for doing these corners, just do exactly the same thing. So just for any that you've increased, just do like the exact same thing. Do a front post, back post, front post, back post, front post, back post, because this is getting bigger, so you need to put more stitches into it. Right, I just got to the end of that row there, so I'm just going to slip stitch into the top of that first front post double crochet. I'm going to pull up my loop a little bit, then I'll yarn over, and I'm literally just going to do the same thing for this row. So there's my first front post double crochet there, and I'll just keep doing back post, front post, back post, front post, and I'll just keep going around and around. And I think I'm going to do 5 rows of this, so I'll just start every single row off like that. And then for the corners around here, I'm just going to put like the 2 stitches into whichever stitches like were into, if that makes sense. So there was like 2 double crochets in those 3 stitches, then each one of those stitches got 2 into it, like that. So then we had 12, and then on the next row, like I'll do 2 into like the 12, so then it'll be like 24 around there, if that makes sense. So it'll just double, but because this is like getting bigger, it's not gonna go wavy, it's just gonna kind of like stay flat. And I'm gonna be steaming this anyway, so it'll just be perfect. I mean, you can see it's laying nice and flat now, so you're just going to like continue with like the doubling up on the numbers. So hopefully that makes sense. So if you continue with this, I will meet you back to do the cuff. It's time to do the sleeves, and we are going to take them from this to this. So in order to do that, you're going to need to drop hook size. So I'm going to drop down to 4mm, and it's going to be 2 rows of this purple colour for me, and then it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rows of the green. Okay, so if you're doing this all in one solid colour, then you literally will just do this but not change colour. So the first thing you're going to want to do is join your yarn on. So I'm just going to put the other sleeve down, and then anywhere you want, usually where there's already joins, that's where you're going to join on. Now just because I'm going to crochet those two together, I'm going to start my join just a little bit before I would go there. So once your yarn is joined on with the double knot there for me, I'm going to pull it through and chain 1, go back in and make a single crochet, and I'm just going to make a single crochet in every single stitch around here. I'm going to go over my tails as well, so single crochet. For this one right on the edge, I'm actually going to single crochet these two together just to help secure it. Okay, so I've just kind of pulled a loop through each one like that. You don't have to, it's just something that I'm going to do. So then just single crochet into every single one, and it will reduce it slightly just because like these are like quite gappy on here, but when you're doing single crochets it'll probably reduce it a bit more, which is fine. I've just picked up the wrong thing there. So crocheting over my tails like that, and just do a single crochet all the way around, and I will meet you back at the start here. Okay, I've gone all the way around, and as you can see, because I've dropped the hook size, it's kind of brought it in just that little bit more. So for me, I want it a little bit tighter. Okay, so you saw on the other sleeve, my other sleeve is like that basically, so I want this a bit tighter. So what I'll do is I will slip stitch into my first single crochet that I made. I'm going to go under both of its loops like that. I'm just going to slip stitch like that. Okay, and then I'll go back into that stitch, and I'm going to make another like start of a single crochet, but because this is the next row, what I'll do now is do a single crochet 2 together. So I've pulled my loop through there, so hook goes in, pull it back through. You should have 3 loops, and then just pull it through all 3 like that. Okay, and then you'll go into the next one, pull it up, next one, pull it up through all 3 like that. So next one, pull up the loop, and then next one, pull up the loop, and every time you do that, it'll start to like half it. If you do this all the way around, it will half the circumference of the sleeve. So you don't need to do it all the way around, like just keep gauging it. So I'll keep like trying my hand in. So I'll do another, so in and out, and then through 3. So I'll do a few more, 1, 2, like that. I mean, I just need to turn it. If you're doing it in the round, you'll keep needing to turn it, especially if your garment's almost finished as well. The garment's going to turn with you. So this one. Okay, so I've done a few more. So I'll zoom you out a teeny little bit. I'm going to just try it. It's not quite the fit I want just yet. So I'll go in.
And again, crochet 2 singles together, in, and again, 2 singles together.
I'm just going to do this maybe another 3 or 4 times, because I know that on the other sleeve I didn't have to do this all the way around, because it does quite dramatically reduce the sleeve. So there's that one. Let me just try my hand in. Not quite. Probably need about 4 more, I reckon.
So I'll go 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Okay, I'll just pull that long loop like that, and that for me, that should be all right. So my ring's just getting caught on it. I should have took my ring off for this, but yeah, so that is fine. So I will be able to get my hand in and out, and of course with wear it will stretch a little bit, so just like do it to your fit, and then just to finish off and get back to the round, just single crochet in all of the next ones. Okay, so I'm just literally just going to single crochet my way all the way back to the beginning of this row, which I shouldn't actually have that many stitches left. Yeah, it's right there. Okay, so don't do that all the way around unless like your sleeves were really baggy and you're trying to get them to the right like circumference. There's my end. I'm just going to slip stitch into it. Just do it so that it's comfortable. Okay, so I'll just pull that through and then I'll snip my yarn and then I'm going to join in my green. Let me just grab my green. This is all I've got left of my Stylecraft in the shade bright green, so this should be enough. This should be absolutely fine, especially if it's just for a sleeve. So I'm just going to join this on in exactly the same manner that I did with this. I'll just kind of, you know, weave that purple in as I go. Right, so I'm going to be doing back loop, front loop, double crochet ribbon. So to start this off, you want to pull your hook through and then chain 1, go back in, make that into a single crochet. Let me just zoom you in a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. And then we're going to make this into a standing double crochet or a stacked double crochet. Going to go into that front leg, pull it through and make a single crochet on top. Okay, so all you'll do for this row is just make like a row of double crochets, because that's going to form like the foundation of this row here. So you need to start with all, that wasn't a double crochet, you need to start with all double crochets into every single stitch around. And once you've done that, I'll meet you back at the beginning. I've just got back to the end there. I'm just going to slip stitch into the top stitch of that stacked double crochet. So there's my slip stitch. Okay, right, to start this off, just kind of pull up a bit of a loose loop like this and then yarn over and then go behind. It's quite a fat stitch, this one. Go behind it, pull your yarn through, pull through 2, pull through 2. Okay, the next one you were going to do yarn over, back loop, pull it through 2, through 2. So we're just going to alternate front loop and back loop double crochets for this. So here's another back loop double crochet and then a front loop, and just alternate it. And it's that alternating that will give you the look of the ribbing. Okay, so I'm on a back loop and I'm on a front loop like this, and then I'll do a back loop, and I'm just going to continue this. So just continue this all the way around and then slip stitch to the top of your first stitch, and I'll show you how to start the next rounds that come after that. Okay, so my second row of that is complete now. So here's my slip stitch into the first one there. Okay, sometimes it's okay if you've got an odd number of stitches. It just might mean that you have like 2 front loops or 2 back loops together. That's totally fine. Nobody's literally going to get close enough to notice, so don't worry about it. So just start the next row off exactly the same. Just pull up a bit of a high loop, yarn over, and then go behind that first front post. Oops, that was a half double. There we go. Okay, and then just front post into the front posts and back post into the back posts. So all double crochets. You could try this in half double crochet if you wanted to. It works just fine. But I just prefer the look of the double crochets in there. So that's all you do, and you just do as many rounds or as many rows of this as you want. You will have to turn your sleeve as you do it. As you notice, my one's a bit twisty now. But yeah, if you just keep going for as many as you want, like I said, let me just grab my other one. It's kind of around here somewhere. So here's my other one. Let me just zoom out. Okay, and then all you'll do to finish this off is you will just literally slip stitch into the last one. And as you can see, like they've ended up pretty identical in the width because of like how I've done it when I've just kind of gauged it on myself. And I'm just going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rows of this green, and I'll literally just slip stitch into the last one, pull up a loop and then snip my yarn, and then I'll weave in my ends. And once that's done, then your cardigan is complete. So I'm going to finish this off. I'm going to, do a chain 1, snip it off, and then I'm going to go and steam it, and then I'm going to try it on for you. So here's the finished cardigan. I'm going to step back. I don't have my microphone, but like, have a look. Oh, isn't it so good? Oh, I'm so pleased with this. I've actually started one in a solid colour, so I'll put that like in a vlog or something afterwards. But like, it's really good. Like, it just, yes, like the decreases in the arms, just like the way I've done it, I'm so pleased with it. So like, if you want to make one for yourself, go for it. It's so worth it. Just, you can make it in a solid colour. You don't need to change colours every row, even the ribbon, etc, etc. But yes, highly recommend. Sleeves fit perfectly. It's just I'm so pleased with it. It's Halloween in 2 weeks. I will be wearing this for work. Like, honestly, it's so good. So if you haven't already subscribed, get subscribed. I've got some more tutorials coming. I also have tutorials for this. Well, a tutorial for this. This is my basket weave hexagon cardigan. I've also got a waffle stitch hexagon cardigan. I've got an Akatar themed one, which I'm going to make. I know I've promised it. I promised it'll come, don't worry. I've got a mermaid hexagon cardigan, which I have left in my car because I've been wearing it. What else have I got? I've got my Barbie hexagon cardigan. I've got a lot of cardigans basically. They're in a playlist. So yeah, if you want to make like cardigans that I have made, then I will have tutorials for them. I've got one with panels up the back, which is going to come shortly. I need to get on top of things. I'm currently working with Hobby Christmas yarn. I'm going to be making, I'm going to keep it a surprise, but there will be a Christmas themed cardigan, which I will put out the tutorial for it. I'm going to skip it ahead in my tutorial queue because it is Christmas themed and people will want to make this in time for Christmas. So I'm going to try and get that out like maybe before the beginning of November. So yeah, get subscribed if you're not already. Please hit the thumbs up and leave a comment down below on what colours you would love to make this in, because I would love to know. Feel free to tag me on Instagram. I've got a Facebook group if you want to like share what you've done, and I can like be like, oh my god, that's amazing. So yeah, basically that's it for this tutorial, and I'm going to catch you probably in about a week with my gingham cardigan tutorial, which I don't have right here, but you're going to love it. So I'm going to catch you guys in the next video.